What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and today we're going to be discussing my Delilah theory in Firewatch. This is a full spoiler video. While I'm not going to, dissect the actual game, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think of Delilah truly, and that's kind of going to go into the game a little bit, so you'll probably want to have beaten the game before you watch this video. So I want to talk about why Delilah isn't the person that some may believe she is. Depending on what kind of person you are, you may have gone through the game, completely liking Delilah, talking to her. In fact, that's actually what I did. I kind of took her side on most things. I talked to her. I liked her. But I always had the feeling that something wasn't exactly right with what was going on. And in fact, in the game, towards the end, Henry even says, it's as if we missed something here. When you discover the child's body dead, and Delilah is saying how Ned murdered his son. Henry actually says, what if we've missed something? And I think he's definitely right, and I think that kind of goes to the bigger picture: is what if we miss something? What if we miss something with Delilah? While I'm talking, it's just going to be a video of the game Firewatch. I'm not going to actually show the video proof of what I'm talking about, but if you don't believe me or you want to see it for yourself, there's loads of videos out there showing you the specific moments of the game, so please go check that out just to reinforce it. So I want to just illustrate, this is going to be a short video, I just want to illustrate a couple of things that seemed off with Delilah. Towards the beginning of the game, you actually hear her talking on her walkie-talkie with this mysterious guy, and you have the option to kind of say, who was that? She gets furious at you. She says it's none of your business, and she shuts you down for quite a while. And I don't know about other people, but I kind of forgot about that whole engagement. Who exactly was she talking to? She says no, he doesn't know. And I mean, my assumption, and many people's assumptions now, is that she's actually talking to Ned. She wasn't talking to a love interest. She wasn't talking to one of the other lookouts. She was talking to Ned. Why? Well, she gets extremely upset at you when you ask her who was she talking to. She comes back later on to apologize and say, she was out of line for doing that, but she never actually says who she was talking to. If it was another lookout, you think she would have, just said it. And she says later in the game, when Henry asks if this thing is happening to the other lookout, she says no. She talks a lot about in the game how she talks to the other lookouts, but in that specific moment, she seems to get really upset. If it was just another lookout, why did she get so upset when Henry asked about it? So that just seems pretty off about her. Why she got so defensive. A couple other things is just her level of not caring enough. Some people have illustrated this in other videos. Some people have actually missed it. Very early on in the game, you actually get to the point where you see that mysterious figure taking a picture of you and leaving. And you don't know who it is, and you tell Delilah, you say, hey, I think there's a strange man out here. And the more I think about it, the more I think that that's actually probably Ned, because he's trailing you throughout the game. He's watching you. He's been taking notes on you. That's most definitely him. And when you radio into Delilah, she doesn't really care. She makes fun of you. She says meeting mysterious people out in the forest is just part of the fun of the job. But she doesn't actually take it seriously that there seems to be this guy trailing you, taking pictures of you. And the more you think about it, well, that was probably Ned, and why doesn't Delilah seem more concerned about it? She kind of just brushes it off. Another example of this whole brushing off thing is later on when you find the clipboard of their conversations being recorded. She doesn't really seem to care very much. Again, it's more of a joke. She makes like a bear reference. Like where you attacked, like maybe you're imagining things. She doesn't seem concerned enough that their conversations are being written down and studied. There's just not enough care there to make me believe that. It's almost as if she knew that that was taking place, probably because she was talking to Ned the entire time. Okay, so we got those two instances. And then probably one of the biggest things in the entire game is the Wapiti Station. When Henry asks, what is this Wapiti place on the map? Delilah says, never heard of it. That doesn't exist. And then she says, oh, wait a second, I have heard of it. I've heard of like a different name for it. But why didn't she know what he was talking about at first? She's been working for over 10 years there. So you think she would know the entire land, and for him to bring up this Wapiti place, and then for her to just say, well, I've never heard of it. That seems very strange, especially... Okay, so then we got that. So then you go there, right? And the fence is blocked off. There's the lock. And ironically, Delilah says that, if you were a firefighter, you could just break that down in 2 seconds. And she says, hey, there's this fire station lookout at the complete other side of the map where you can go get the axe and then break it down. And Henry does it. You go to the other side of the map and then you come back. And that's a very long time. That's enough time for Ned to mess with whatever documents he messed with inside that station. So it's very strange how Delilah kind of leads you completely to the other side of the map, maybe to buy time. Okay, so then you get the axe, right? You go back, you break down the fence. You go in, and ironically, and there's videos of people doing this, so you can go you can find this in some videos. When you're in Wapiti Station and you're right outside the camp you're right outside like the tent with all the documents in it, you can actually see Delilah's lookout tower. Okay, so that means Delilah can see the station, or can see Wapiti. Okay, so it's very strange that, one, if you can see her lookout, that means she can definitely see you. It's pretty close to her lookout, actually. So why has she never heard of this place? If there was this guy going in and out with these documents and writing things down and all these tracking devices, how could she have never seen this happen when her lookout tower is right there? She has a clear view to this place, and yet she's never talked about it. It's just very strange that she's never heard of it, and she's never seen any activity, although her lookout tower is in perfect position to see it. Okay, that's just really off to me. Like she's hiding something, like she doesn't want you to know that there's something there. Okay, and then you leave immediately after, and then a fire starts there. Okay, so like how could she not see that? Now she knows where you are. And then you leave, and then the fire starts. Wouldn't she see a person there? Okay? So, that's a huge part of it. I really don't understand that. Then there's just some weird things with her. She goes to put the second walkie-talkie that isn't being, tapped into. She puts it in a cash box, but ironically, the box is miles away from where your lookout tower is, and even farther away from her lookout tower. Why couldn't she have just come to your lookout tower and given it to you? She actually doubled her distance to put it in the cash box and then go back. She never saw you either way. So it's just very strange. Like, why would you go so far? Why wouldn't you just go to his tower? Another strange thing about that is maybe she actually wasn't the person who did that. Maybe it was Ned. If you notice, and again there's YouTube videos doing this, when you go to the cash box to get the walkie-talkie, if you stop and listen, you can hear somebody behind you. You can hear somebody, you assume that they're watching you, obviously, but you can hear movement in the trees and in the grass, okay? And in the entire game, you never hear that, okay? You only hear that when you're in... I don't remember the tree, but when you go to that tree that Delilah says, look at this tree, go there. When you're in that area, and if you kind of just stop moving, you can hear movement behind you. There's somebody behind you. And I would think that that's Ned. And that's the only time that you ever hear that kind of movement behind you. And it's just very strange that that's at the same spot as this walkie-talkie. Like I said, if it was Delilah, why didn't she just bring it to your lookout? She knows where your lookout is. But she travels miles past it, and then miles past it again to get back to her lookout. It's just unnecessary travel. But if it was Ned, that would make a little bit more sense. So the final things really to talk about is the very ending. When she keeps saying Ned's the killer, Ned's the killer. Well, another thing, Ned's notes are very strange too. In his notes, if you look at them, originally he talks about Henry as kind of a good guy, nothing to worry about. He seems nice. But then as the notes go on, he starts, swearing at him and saying, like he's pathetic and all these things. And when you look at his notes on Delilah, it seems almost like a jealous ex. When you just kind of read into it, it's almost as if, he has like a past relationship, but it seems like a jealous ex kind of writing on her case study notes. But at the very end of the game, okay, so Delilah says that Ned killed him, even though it seems pretty obvious that maybe it really was an accident. But Delilah just says, no, it has to be him. It's pretty evident that she was part of this somehow. Okay, she knew Brian's body was dead. She knew that. She's been in contact with Ned the entire time. And then at the very end, you say she leaves. She doesn't want to see you. And then when you go to the evac point and you talk to her on the radio for the final time, and you say you have the option to say, well, maybe you should come with me. Like, we should be together. And then Delilah says, I have some things to do. You should go see your wife. Okay, it's after this entire relationship you've built up with Delilah, for her to just continue to kind of not push you away, but kind of, be back there and say, well, we don't need to meet. That's not really necessary. It's just very strange. Why wouldn't she want to meet Henry? Is it because she's been hiding this whole thing the entire time? It's just very strange. So this is more of just a theory of how Delilah isn't really the person we think. I don't necessarily know why she did what she did. It's very evident that the walkie-talkie in the beginning, she was talking to Ned. She had contact with Ned the entire time. She should have known what Wapiti Station was. She obviously knew something more about Brian's death than what she let on. Her and Ned were together for this entire game. It seems she was hiding something from Henry the entire time. Why was she doing that? I'm not exactly sure. I don't really want to make this video about why she did what she did. Maybe it was for fun. She's been out there for a while and she meets this guy and then she just does this for fun. But I don't necessarily understand why. It could have just been because she knew something about the body. She knew Brian was dead, and maybe she had something to do with it, and her and Ned being maybe in a relationship together, and so she was trying to distance herself from all that and kind of start anew. But then Henry comes, and Ned's still doing these observations on them, and Delilah really has no choice but to try to keep Henry as far away from it as possible. If she had her way, he probably wouldn't have gotten into Wapiti Station, in my opinion. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to kind of talk about how Delilah, she just seemed weird the entire game. And I know people kind of had a off feeling about her. It was kind of split, people either really liked her and tried to connect with her, or people just immediately felt like something was off about her. I tried to connect with her. I did. I think I went the more, emotional relationship and tried to get Henry to like her and stuff. And I tried to like her, but it really is true. There was just something always strange about her, something off. She doesn't seem normal. like she knows more than she leads on in the game. She's connected to it somehow, and she kind of is just like leading Henry along, and that kind of sucks. So that's pretty much it. I just want to make a video talking about that a little bit. What do you guys think? What did I leave out? What was kind of weird about this? Was there anything else weird about her, or her and Ned? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe and do all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to have a review up of Firewatch very soon. So thank you for watching this theories video. Have a good one, guys.